I mean, just the aspect of like knowing the big league team played there, and like that's the end goal. You want to help the big league club, and they had a very nice locker room, very nice facilities for us. The field was awesome, like all the way down to the last detail. Everything was awesome, and it truly started to feel like you're one step away from the big leagues, and that's what made the experience so great, in my opinion.
All right, guys, to the Show We Go Baseball podcast. Today's episode, we're dipping back into the Blue Jays system. Last time we were in this system, we had our good pal Hayden Yinger on for the second time, and in today's episode, we got Trenton Wallace. And if you're not too familiar, Trenton, he started 2024 in New Hampshire for the Double-A Fisher Cats, and actually got called up to Triple-A up there in Buffalo this year. And we're going to dive into a couple of those, but Trent, I always like to do this at the very beginning of these episodes. I'm not sure if you're back home right now or what you're doing, but how's your offseason been treating you?
It's good. I'm actually down in Dallas, Texas this offseason. I'm training at a facility down here, and my girlfriend actually lives down here as well. So I'm living down here, training, and just running the offseason.
Okay. Is that is Dallas where you I guess have you called home? Have you called Dallas home for the last couple of years, or is this something new?
This is new. Yeah, this is all of it's kind of new to me. I've been home the first two off seasons I was home, and then I was actually in rehab for 23 in the off season, and then this is my first time down in Dallas.
Okay. Yeah. It's gonna snow this week, and I feel like the area is going to have a meltdown. And are you prepared for that?
I'm from Illinois, so like I'm pretty good with driving in the snow and the rain. I'm not, but from what I've heard, it's like stay off the roads because of other people.
Yeah.
I
wasn't as concerned about you. I was more of like, are we going to be able to handle the grocery stores being completely empty in like a day or so, and everybody kind of losing their minds?
Yeah, I'm supposed to go to the grocery store this afternoon, so I kind of want to see if it's already starting. I've heard they just shut everything down when snow or rain or anything down here is like coming, everything just gets shut down.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Obviously, like you said, from Illinois, you went to college at Iowa. You played this past year in Buffalo and New Hampshire, two places that are very familiar with snow. But
growing up, you get 2-3 inches of snow in Illinois, even 4, you're going to school.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah. I went to high school in Southern Illinois, and we were used to it. Then. Oh yeah. Even if it was a couple, it's like no, like your mom's like nope, school's not canceled, you're going. So
yep.
All right, I'll get into some boring stuff here, and I want to talk about your 2024 year. Obviously it was a very good year for you. You went from Double-A to Triple-A, and I'm sure you were pretty happy about that with the timing. And so I just want to ask you, how was your 2024? What are some takeaways do you have?
Overall, I thought it was good. It was definitely a weird year for me in terms of like pitching in itself, not like result based. I felt like I didn't really have my A game this year. I came out of rehab, went straight into spring training and right into season, and just kind of competed. But that's the name of the game. You get outs. I mean, you got to use what's working that day, what's going to get the job done, and what's going to put your team in the best place possible to win. So that was something I took to heart this year, was like, can I give my team a chance to win as a starter each time out? And if I don't have my best stuff, I'm not feeling my greatest that I have in the past, like in terms of mechanics or whatever that day, can I find a way to get through 4 to 5, 6 innings and put the team in the best place to have a chance to win? So in that aspect, I was really proud of how I performed, and each time out just told myself, do a little bit better next time, do a little bit better next time, keep giving your team a chance to win, and good things will happen. So
that actually is, something that kind of stuck out to me when I sat down with you in New Hampshire over the season. And, that was one thing that I guess a little backstory on this is whenever I went to New Hampshire, and I remember talking with the broadcaster there, Chris Jarrett, and he was kind of talking to me, and he was just like, "Yeah, I got some guys that I want you to talk to," and things like that. And I'm just like, "Okay," and he's kind of like saying some names, and then he said your name, and he's just like, if you look at Trenton's numbers right now, he goes out, limits the runs, gives his team a chance to win every single time he's on the mound. And when I was talking to you, that was something that you had kind of talked about. You're like, I'm always keeping my team, like that's what I want to do when I step foot on the mound. I want to give my team a chance to win the game, and you were doing that every single time you were on the mound in Double A. And what do you think helped spark the success that you saw this year? Like what did you take from, obviously, you were rehabbing the year before, so what kind of things do you think you took from your time out of the game to put towards your game this year?
I think just like it built a fire in me. Being in rehab so long was just like frustrating at times, trying to figure out how to get better and why it was taking so long. And I think it just kept building up. And I took all of that into, all right, now it's time to perform. Like, I don't have a choice, and just use that anger, I guess, and put it out onto the field in terms of focus and confidence. Just kept going up and up each week. And as I kept performing in Double A, and I wasn't even thinking about getting promoted. I was just like, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to pitch. Whatever happens, I'm going to do better next week than I did the week before. And I just going to keep building on top of it, work on things in between starts, and good things are going to happen in the end. And I think that's where all of that came from. Even though, like, I was pretty frustrated with, like, my velocity was down this year way more than I wanted it to be. Maybe pitch shapes weren't as consistent as or sharp as they were in the past, but at the end of the day, it's, can you get 3 outs before the other team scores? So
And you had just kind of mentioned as well that you weren't really as much focused on, hey, oh, when am I getting promoted to AAA? Like you kind of didn't have that in your brain, but obviously, eventually you did end up getting promoted to AAA. And I did want to ask you too, what were some of your initial thoughts? Because obviously, once you get to AAA, you got the ABS system up there, which is not a thing down in AA. So, it's not uncommon for guys to go up there and maybe start to struggle in their first couple outings just because that strike zone gets a little bit smaller once you get up there. So, what did you think of, of, I guess, facing the competition in AAA and just some of the new challenges?
I think it's definitely a jump skill wise. Guys are more in tune with hitters are more in tune with their approach. They're not going to give in. They're not going to get fooled as easily, and they're not going to chase as much. And I think I gave hitters a little too much of that credit in my first few starts of not just attack, attack, attack. I was trying to pick corners a little bit, and that's just not my game. My game's get outs quick, whether it's a strikeout, whether it's a ground ball, whether it's a fly out. Just get outs quick. And the last 4 to 5 starts, I started to get into a groove of, okay, just like, yeah, I don't have my A game this year, but like something's working. So just keep attacking hitters. Don't give in because you think it's not going to work. Like, keep attacking hitters. So I think that adjustment from the first 4 starts to the last 4 starts is what made the biggest difference, I would say.
What did you think of the challenge system in the ABS?
I think we didn't. So when I was there, I don't think I had true ABS. I only had challenge. I'm not sure. I don't remember what the rules were in the first half. If they were doing half ABS and half challenge,
Yeah, they were
they were.
splitting it like it was like during the week. So it was like Tuesday through Thursday was ABS, full ABS, and then
Okay.
Friday through Sunday was the challenge.
Yeah. I got there. They had only challenge. The
Okay.
whole thing was challenge, which I think is good. Like,
Okay. I agree.
if we're gonna bring robots into the game, I don't. I've pitched on ABS in low A as well back in 2022. It was a thing. We didn't have challenge. I don't think. Maybe we did, but either way, I don't think true ABS should be in the game. But if they are going to go towards technology, the challenge rule is the only way to go because in multiple reasons. If you don't, You'll eliminate arguing with the umpire over balls and strikes. If you don't like the
Mhm.
call, challenge it. You get it wrong, you lose one for your whole team. You get it right, okay, there you go. No need to say anything. Just challenge it, see if it's a strike or a ball. So, and I've always thought of it this way: is if it was true ABS system, why do we need a home plate umpire? Like why would someone want to go stand back there and take a chance of taking a foul ball straight to the face off of their mask? And like, I mean, it sounds silly, but it happens all the time. And if there's no purpose to being back there and calling balls and strikes, why would they want to do it?
Yeah,
But
I completely agree with you, by the way.
yeah.
Um, in regards to, just the challenge system being, I thought it was 10 times better. And also, too, like,
Mhm.
I feel like whenever they think about these things sometimes, too, it's like, it's always about the fan. And it's like, okay, that challenge system, like, there were some times, like, I remember sitting in Worcester, Massachusetts at a Woo Sox game. And, it was like the bottom of the ninth. There was like the closer was on the mound. And, it was like a two-strike count. And, the pitcher challenged because he thought he threw the game-winning strike. They had the fans like on their feet. Like it was like one of
Mhm.
those things. Like it's probably not the best way you want a game to end, but like it was a lot of anticipation where they go to the video board and you see the
Yep.
ball come in, and then all the fans are like, "Whoa!" Like I don't know. I kind of
Yeah.
liked it.
I think it's
Um,
a cool aspect that they could bring into the game at the major league level. But
and what was
I don't think it should be full robots.
I agree. Do you did you get to challenge any whenever you were up there?
We do not really allow pitchers to challenge.
Okay.
We're not supposed to, except for
Okay.
Jake Bloss. Shout out Jake Bloss because he will let it eat. But they want the catcher to challenge just because they've got the best view, which I do agree with. Sometimes pitchers, I feel like I've caught myself a couple times like getting ready to make an emotional like challenge. Like, okay, am I just frustrated or was it actually there? Just let the catcher. He's got the best view, so let the catcher do it. So
Yeah, and
I understand why we do only the hitters when we're on offense are doing it, obviously, and then only the catcher.
yeah, the pitchers might be a little more biased on every pitch.
Yes.
They're like, man, that one looked pretty. I wanted that one, right? So
Yep.
I understand that philosophy actually from that point of view. So you ended up going up to Buffalo to finish the year. What did you think about pitching at Buffalo? Obviously, that stadium there hosted the Blue Jays during COVID time, so like an MLB team was there. I know that stadium's pretty nice, and you're a little closer to Toronto's, all their fan base. So what did you think about pitching in Buffalo?
I thought it was cool. I mean, just the aspect of like knowing the big league team played there and like that's the end goal. You want to help the big league club. And they had a very nice locker room, very nice facilities for us. The field was awesome. Like all the way down to the last detail, everything was awesome. And it truly started to feel like you're one step away from the big leagues. And that's what made the experience so great, in my opinion.
So I think something that's very unique in what makes AAA is the mixture of players in the locker room, where you could have guys all the way from, the young 21, 22-year-old kid that just got called up. Maybe he's a top prospect, maybe not. And then you go all the way to guys that have a ton of MLB time in the locker room, and they're vets, and they made their debut 10 years ago or whatever. Or if you're in Buffalo's case, you had a guy that's hopefully a future Hall of Famer, Joey Votto, in the locker room.
Hmm.
That would be absolutely cool to share a locker room with. But what was your experience, I guess, sharing a locker room with some guys with some MLB time? And did you get a chance to pick any brains?
Yeah, I mean, Joey Votto was there, obviously. Like that's the big name. That guy, he's a future Hall of Famer. Like, and end of discussion. The guy was
Yes.
unbelievable. Had a great career. I'd got to pick his brain a little bit. I like to reverse pick sometimes, so I like to pick hitters' brains of like, what are you seeing? Like, what do you think? Like about even if I'm not saying about myself, but like I see a pitcher on the other team that's throwing similar to the way I pitch. It's like what's your plan against them? Like, what are you thinking? And I had a good conversation with Joey one time about swing path and what he's what he saw. We were watching the big league Blue Jays play and on the TV, and someone took a swing, and Joey said something immediately and was like, "He'll never get to it." And I was like, I kind of looked at him just like confused, like more so like. wonder what he saw. And I asked him, like, what do you mean? And he's like, you see how he's going down and like a certain way with his hands, like he'll never get to that pitch. Like that's what, even to the pitcher's eye, he can see what his hands are doing, and he understands that that hitter's not going to get to that pitch. So it's like cool to see, like, okay, now I can use that. Like if I throw a pitch to a hitter and I see his hands do the same thing, I can understand what Joey's saying from a hitter's perspective and use it to my advantage. So like that conversation alone just made me like so much more confident in, like, even if I throw a pitch and it's not in the spot I want, but I see a certain swing, understanding how I can use something off of that is what I took from it. So
And also, too, I want to add or piggyback on that and ask you this. And obviously, just being around him, even like the example you just gave me is something off the field that just being around the guy, just it kind of you can learn so much by just not even being like between the base pass, like so. I guess my question here too is like obviously you got to see him prepare and work out and train and take swings in the cage or whatever it was. Like, what kind of things did you kind of like pick up from him on like, okay, this guy was in the league for 20 years and this is how he goes about every day. This is what he does every day. He whatever he does off the field. What kind of things did you take from him on that aspect?
he's very detailed oriented. That was the biggest thing I saw. He has a plan every day. He came in, whatever he needed to do in the training room to prep, he did it right away. And it was just step by step by step by step, all the way through batting practice, all the way through the end of batting practice, and all the way up until pregame. It was a perfect order of making sure he did everything he could and gave himself enough time. That's the big thing. Is like sometimes sometimes I've done it myself too. It's like you hang around stretching too long, and then all of a sudden you don't have time to do a certain drill that you wanted to get in, and you just have to go play catch. And it's like the big thing I started noticing is Joey was getting enough time to do every single aspect of what he had to do that day before he went into the game. And that's something I realized, it's like that's what we're here for. Like that's our job. We need to complete our job to prepare. And it's like my dad's always said, like, there's 5 P's in life. So do you know the 5 P's?
I don't think I do.
No. Proper planning prevents poor performance. So that's like that was the first example. My dad said it to me like 1,000 times, and then I saw Joey do his whole pregame routine from like 2 o'clock all the way until our 6:30 at night game, and I was like, okay, this guy is locked in, dialed in. He's ready for a game.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that is like I know that some guys out in the PCL this year, Johnny Cueto was kind of floating around, and I talked to a couple guys that were playing out there, and they were just like, it was so cool just seeing like Johnny Cueto like out there on the mound and like throwing, and it's like this guy we grew up watching, and same with Joey Votto, man. Like I was almost even like starstruck seeing him, and it's one of those things where it's like you're right. He should be a Hall of Famer. It'd be a disgrace if he was not, but had to have been
Yeah,
a cool experience, man. Something that I'm sure you're very happy that you got the chance to share a locker room before he ended up retiring. But
100%.
I have one more baseball question left before I shoot to some things off the field. It's in regards to spring training, and I know pitchers and catchers report here in a little over a month from right now. It's sneaking up on us a little bit. And I feel like your spring training here in 2025 is probably going to be one of the biggest ones in your career, just due to you being now up at AAA and kind of getting a lot closer to the bigs. So what kind of things are you looking forward to, I guess, showing in spring training, and I guess just having this one coming up?
Yeah, I think it's just going into it healthy. Um, Last off season, obviously, I was in rehab, so didn't have like a full training program to go through. This off season, I actually went with Tread Athletics, and I'm pretty pumped about where I'm at so far. I've made some mechanical adjustments. I feel like I'm back to being very close to what I was in 2022 and 2023 in terms of mechanics velo and stuff wise. I feel like I'm on the right road there. And I think just going to spring training and being healthy going into it is what I'm most excited about. Just there's it's a I mean everyone goes through it in rehab. It's in the back of your head sometimes. You have to get pushed through it of is it going to come back? Is it going to come back? And like I finally got over that hump. I gave myself a push basically right out of spring training of like, no, you're going out to season like you are fine. You're healthy. Here we go. And now I'm taking that same attitude like I feel healthy right now. Like just keep going. Don't think about anything that can go the opposite way. I've got a good program. I've got good communication with the Blue Jays and what they want to see and what they want me to change and fix and everything. And I think we're all on the same page with Tread and the Blue Jays side. And I think going into spring, it's going to be coming together still. And that's what I'm excited for is like the being down there and putting it all together at the end, getting ready for season.
Is this your first off season with Tread?
Yes. Yep.
So what have you? I'm sure there's a lot of differences between what you were doing previously and with Tread, but what
Mhm.
is like one of your main takeaways that a big difference in your off season training this off season compared to the previous when you were healthy?
Yeah, it's mostly mechanical drills. So I actually never threw plyo balls really in the past and did plyo drills. I just wasn't a fan. I don't just kind of never really did it. And I had drills with the Blue Jays that I had done just with the baseball and stuff, but I've switched to a plyo program. I've bought into it because I do believe like varying weights can help patterns. So like if my arm's late, all right, I can use the lighter one and get it on time. If my arm's too too early, you use the heavy one and do a certain drill. So like I'm buying into it, and then I'm buying into the movement aspect of fixing mechanical flaws, holding, being more stable. I've actually dropped about 15 pounds this off season as well and
Okay.
put on a couple pounds of muscle already. So I feel like that's going to be a big key in the performance this year as well as just maintaining that. So
Wow. Yeah, it's a new body this year. Has that been an adjustment to kind of, with obviously with, dropping weight and adding, muscle or anything? Has that been like a little adjustment while you've been kind of training this off season?
yeah, it's just the biggest thing for me. I've just started tracking my food intake, my macros, my grams of protein, grams of carbs, grams of fat each day, and making sure I hit the goals that I need to, stay under the goals that I need to stay under, and it's just all coming together. We have a great nutrition program with the Blue Jays, and they've been a big help this offseason in making sure I'm getting down closer to my goal weight.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's I don't know. It sounds like 2025 is going to be good for you, and obviously it's great that you're healthy going into it as well. I know you're probably pretty psyched about that to have a normal off season once again. All right, I'm going to switch gears here. This last little part of the pods I usually like to do is a little off the field and kind of see what you were doing before you turned pro. And obviously, you grew up in Illinois. You went to University of Iowa. What was it like growing up? I guess with the baseball scene up, and where you went to high school, and I guess what? Tell me about playing baseball up there.
Yeah, growing up, I'll even go farther back. My dad's been a Division III baseball coach for Augustana College in the Quad Cities for 26, 27 seasons now, I believe. And so I grew up from like a young age around the game, going to their practices when I was 9, 10 years old and learning and picking it up. And so I grew up, I guess, looking at way advanced baseball, like style of baseball than a 10-year-old should know. And I used that, I believe, like that's how I like to think about it. I used that, and that's why I feel like I was always grabbing something, seeing my dad teach someone and learning it right away. But now it's like I was so young that I was able to intake it that I could even advance it down the road. So then I went into high school. High school in Iowa is a little different. You play summer baseball in Iowa. So as an eighth grader, I was playing freshman and sophomore baseball at each level. I played a couple sophomore games mostly on, and then I mostly played for the freshman team. Freshman year of high school, I pitched on the sophomore team, and then I got called up to varsity for the playoffs and pitched in the playoff, pitched the first round of sub-state, closed out the quarterfinals, closed out the semifinal. I pitched like the last 4 innings of the semifinals, and then our starter for the championship went the whole 7, and we won the state title. So like that was pretty cool, just being around like a championship team from a young age and understanding like what type of style of play, what type of work at practice needs to be done in order to be on a championship team. And we had a great group of leaders. Like one that sticks out is Jake Gervais. He played football. He ended up playing football at Iowa. When I was a freshman, he was a senior on the baseball team, and he played football at Iowa, played for the Rams, I believe, was on the Super Bowl Rams team. Just a good leader in his work ethic, leading by example, like doing everything correctly. So from a younger high school kid, being able to see that, that's what made me take off in high school. Sophomore year, I made the jump, gained a little velo after a good off season, pitched really well. Same thing junior year, committed to Iowa, signed with Iowa as a senior, and then we won the state title my senior year. I think we went like 41-5 or something. My senior year, won the state
Huge.
title. Yeah. So I had a really, I'm thankful to have a really good high school career and understanding. And I did take 2 losses. I lost 2 games in the sub-state, either finals or quarter or semifinals, back-to-back years to the same team, my sophomore and junior year. So like I was able to ride the wave of freshman back down for a couple years and understand what it's going to take to make that last jump as a senior. And then with all my buddies, we made the jump and won state again. So I was grateful for like the ups and downs of it.
It's a little movie esque, if you ask me. Kind of losing to the same team 2 years in a row, and then obviously getting over that hump your senior year.
Hmm.
But I did have a question. So I did read that you were a top 500 prospect according to Perfect Game when you were coming out of high school, and you ended up committing to Iowa. And I'm assuming you probably had a few other, just a few other offers out there for maybe some other Division 1 schools, or even ones in the area, even Iowa State or any other school there, or one of the Big 10 schools. So why Iowa?
Yeah, I was down to Iowa and University of Illinois were my final two. And I liked how Iowa felt on my visits in terms of going. They took me to a football game one of the time, and it just felt like home right away. Illinois had great facilities. The big thing that pulled me close to Iowa when making a decision was they wanted me to be a true two-way player. So they were going to work with me. Illinois said I could hit in the fall, but they were mostly going to focus on me as a pitcher. But Iowa said we're going to do both. We're right away. We're going to focus on both. And I think I wanted to play both sides of the ball, and that's kind of what pushed me to Iowa. And then the where they were, I didn't really understand it as well as I thought I did at the time, but how advanced they are in the technology and using it to train. And I think we were at one point we were one of 5 teams in the country to have TrackMan on field, Edgertronics, Rapsodos, like just the development side, like that the best way to explain Iowa is gritty baseball. Like we're gonna get the guy that may not be as talented as a guy going into the SEC, but we're gonna grind, use our technology, use science the best way we can to make this guy into a prospect and a guy that's gonna help our team. And I think that's what drew me into it was like seeing the guys that were there before me work out, watch them play, watch how they do things. And it's very similar to what I've seen in pro ball with some of the veterans is like they do their things from one thing to the next, all the way up until game time. They are properly prepared. for the game, and that's kind of like the way I just function. So I think that's what made me want to go there.
You said something I've heard from another Iowa baseball alum that's I bumped into a few times this past year at the Red Sox system. Tyson Blazer. He said
Hmm.
gritty baseball is what he kept telling me. He's just like, you guys can, the SEC can have all their guys. They can do that. We'll take the gritty guys up at Iowa. And I feel like Tyson's always kind of talking about things like that. He's just like,
Hmm.
man, he's like, we just get dogs in there. Like you guys can have your blue chip prospects and all that, but we're gritty up there. But that is, I like that though. Big Ten baseball probably needs a little more love. I think the SEC and ACC and Big 12 get a lot of love, but I feel like Big Ten baseball is a little slept on, and I feel
And
like it's on
yeah,
the come up.
it's coming around. I mean, you got to look at like the top four teams every year, in my opinion, in the Big Ten are competitive regional teams every single season, and we usually are a conference tournament winner gets in, and maybe one more bid. And that's it.
Yeah, I feel like it's coming, man. I feel like Big Ten's going to have a champion probably. I would almost guess within the next decade. It's coming,
Hmm.
especially with the new NIL stuff. I feel like it's starting to kind of spread out a little bit. So,
Yeah, and that will start to even out as well.
oh yeah, yep, I'm with you. I have one more question about your life here before the pros. I've had a few guys on this offseason that were Northwoods League alums. And I saw that you were, you had pitched a little bit there in the Northwoods League. And one of the things that stuck out to me is, one of the guys was telling me it's an absolute grind. Like the
Hmm.
Northwoods League is just an absolute just grind. It goes all summer long. It's like some guys have to like leave early to go back to school or whatever it is. How was your experience in the Northwoods League?
Loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing. Like it, I guess I didn't get to experience true pro ball where it was like 3 games here, get on a bus, okay, overnight. Next morning, you're basically getting ready to go to the field again. So playing in the Northwoods like that and being on bus rides and playing with a team that like understood like it's a grind. Like it's at times it is going to suck, but at the end of the day, we're all playing baseball. Like we're doing what we love. So like that and how nice everyone was and accepting of everyone. Like it was just one big group of guys just like playing the game we love and having fun. It didn't matter if we won or lost. Like yeah, we were competing to win, but like we lose, it's like did we play well? No. Did we play our best? Or give our best effort. Yeah, like we learned some things. It was a very big year for me of learning and trying new things and seeing what's working and what's not going to work. So I think that time, that little grace period of being able to experiment with like different swing types, different pitches, different mechanics, everything on both the hitting side and the pitching side is what really made my career jump.
Yeah, I think obviously you hear so much about the Cape Cod League, and it's good because Cape Cod League has the guys, and it's a very good league. And but I feel like I've just been hearing more and more about this Northwoods League, and it's like I think it was your current teammate right now, Hayden Yinger, that actually pitched up there a few years back, and he was kind of telling me he's like, dude, the Northwoods League helped me so much when I first got into pro ball, and just being able to go through that grind of the Northwoods League and then go straight to like low A, high A, whatever it was, and
Hmm.
be able to have some success. So I always like showing some love to like wherever you guys kind of spend some time in the summer because I feel like it kind of made you guys in a little bit. But
100%.
okay, I got one last segment left. There's just a few questions here. We're going a little more off the field though. I don't know this answer either. I feel like I probably should since you're a pitcher, and I have a couple good guesses here. But what do you do in your free time?
Golf. I mean, I
I
play a
knew
lot of
it.
golf. I don't play. I shouldn't say I play a lot of golf. That's just something. That's probably my number one go to. Like if I have time to do something and it's one warm out, I'm going to the golf course. Like I feel like that's a pitch. That's just a pitcher's thing. Like that's what they do. So golf. I mean, I'll play some video games here and there. Honestly, me and my girlfriend got a puppy early this off season and just been hanging out with him, just kind of trying to train him and stuff. I think it's fun to try and teach him new things and stuff. So, like, just really chill, relaxed, not like anything crazy.
I only get two answers to that question. It's video games or golf.
Yeah.
So,
I do like to cook. That's like a new one
ooh,
for like I've been honestly, I cook dinner for us most nights because she's out on the road working until about 4 or 5 o'clock. So I like to, but I love to cook. So I'm like, I'm cooking dinner 5 nights a week, 4 or 5 nights a week, and I get to try new things. Like I made my pitching coach at Iowa, who's with the Tigers big league, Robin Lund. He is a phenomenal cook, and that's when I first got into it. Was my last year of college, and he's taught me multiple areas of culinary. Like I made homemade chimichurri for steaks like a few weeks
ooh.
ago. Like I just try different things. So
Okay. Yeah, I feel like cooking is like kind of slept on. I feel like I love cooking. I just got married a couple months ago, and I've been cooking all the time, and it's been fantastic. It's kind of like I don't know, clears my mind a little bit. You can just kind of
hmm
like I don't know, there's something about it, man. I enjoy it. I don't enjoy the
and it's
cleanup, but
like yeah, I'm a big if I cook, I don't want to do the dishes. I cooked it.
I'm
So
also an absolute tornado whenever I'm cooking. I feel like there's just stuff everywhere. It's like I'm using as many plates as possible, and I'm like, oh, whatever,
yeah,
man.
I'm the
Just
same way. Whatever as long as the food gets on the plate at the end, it doesn't matter.
I agree, man. I agree. So this one might be a little tougher question. If you weren't playing professional baseball right now, what would you be doing with your life?
I'd be coaching. Like it I just I feel like I have such a good grasp on both sides of the game of pitching and hitting, defensive work, every like just all around. I attribute that to being able to play two-way at a high level all the way through college. And I think I even when I'm done playing, I will want to coach in some sort of aspect, whether it's just a pitching coach or whether it's a head coach. But I just feel like I have such a good grasp on the game and learning from my dad, especially like the way he coaches and from such a young age, being able to watch him, I think it's in the blood. So,
Well, you still got a couple more years left in your tank, obviously, before you kind of get started on that journey. But it is kind of cool though that you're kind of like, hey, all this knowledge and everything you kind of intake over even the next like 5 years, you'll be able to put towards that.
100%. I'll play until someone tells me like, no way, man, like you don't have a chance. Like, and then I'll probably still try. And then at some point, everyone's told they're done, but I will continue to try. But coaching is my go-to plan after it all. So,
Yeah, I mean, Father Time is always undefeated, which is unfortunate because, yeah, it'll always catch up to you, man. But I got two questions left for you here, and I'll let you slide. The first one, I'm going to ask you here. You obviously, you grew up in sort of the Midwest. Would you consider your area the Midwest?
yeah, yep, we're in
Okay.
the Midwest.
Okay. I always am like, so like, I don't know. I can't ever tell what's North, Midwest. Like, I don't really
hmm
know. Sometimes there's lines, but who are some of your favorite athletes growing up? It doesn't have to be baseball, but just any particular sports.
I liked Brett Favre. I'm a Packers fan.
Okay.
My dad and brother are Cowboys fans, so I chose the Packers.
Ooh,
And
good choice by you.
yeah, and I just liked Brett Favre growing up. I don't know why. I think it was just obviously like he was the guy in Green Bay, so that's just someone I watched all the time. That was probably the main one. I would say Mark McGuire. I watched him when I was really little, and then pitching wise, I would say like Adam Wainwright was a big one. Kershaw early, like Chris Carpenter even. So like, I would say those were my main focus points.
So you listed three St. Louis Cardinals there. Was that kind of your team growing up?
Yeah, yeah, I was a Cardinals guy. Dad and
Okay.
brother were also Cubs fans, so I chose the Cardinals. Yep.
I say you're kind of in like Cubs, White Sox territory
Yeah.
there.
No, I think when I was little, my mom just said I just chose the opposites. Yeah.
I don't hate it. I mean, obviously you chose right because I think they won just one more World Series of the Cubs in our
hmm
lifetime. So I think you chose
Yep.
right. Um, Okay, I like to kind of end these things on this question here, and I am going to ask you a Mount Rushmore question, and it's going to be I need your top four, and what I need is restaurant chains, so they can be fast food or sit down, and I just need your top four.
Okay. I gotta put some thought into this.
It's a tough question, man.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go from a fast food aspect. I want to get like different varieties.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna go fast food. I'm gonna go Chipotle.
classic.
Chipotle's up there. Nona's Pizza is up there. That's in
I don't know if I've
Dunedin,
heard of that one.
or it's in Florida, where close to our facility. I don't know if it's in Dunedin specifically, but it's in the area down there. Dave Portnoy was down there and did a pizza review on it as well. I think it's on his page or YouTube
Did
or
he
whatever.
did he give it a good review?
I think he gave it above an 8, which
Oh,
is,
pretty
or
good.
maybe is it a 7? I think a 7's about average for him.
Yeah.
If you're above a 7, you're pretty good. And I think he gave it a high 7. So
Okay.
it's, and I love it. They have a hot honey drizzle on there. It's,
Okay.
yeah, it's undefeated. I thought it sounded terrible at first, and everyone's like, "You got to try it. You got to try it." It's like, all right, and it changed my life.
I'm sold. I'm sold. That's top
Yep.
four.
Trying to think. Um, there's a place called Albernays in Dallas,
Okay.
Texas. It's a steakhouse, like kind of a smaller steakhouse, not really a chain, I guess. So I don't know if I could count that, but dang, this is hard.
It's tough, but you're missing some really easy ones.
I'm gonna throw Chick-fil-A up there.
That one's been one of the most popular
Yeah,
answers.
even though I like Chick-fil-A chicken better, but Cane's sauce is better.
I agree with that.
Um,
You got one left. You haven't given me a burger place yet, which
I
I'm kind of
know. That's what
surprised.
I was starting to think. I was like going down burger and deli meat
Yeah.
route. Oh, oh, shoot. Portillo's.
Oh, okay.
Portillo's is going up there. That's my 4.
There's some
So one non.
Portillos
I
now.
guess I did one non-chain, but
I'll let it
Portillo's.
slide.
Yeah, yeah. If you're going pizza world, I'm going. If pizza was a chain itself, I'm going Nona's Pizza.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Portillo's now in Dallas. Quite a few locations now.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's one up in Grapevine. There's one not that far from Grapevine either. There's like two right there, right by DFW. So
Yeah, I
they're
used
popping up.
to love the cake shakes.
I've never had one. I got to try that. That
They're
sounds
good,
delicious.
and even the chopped salad. I think it's like the chicken chopped salad or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. I would have never guessed.
They've got more than just hot dogs.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm going to have to try it sometime. But Trent, I appreciate all the time when you joining. And obviously, we're looking forward to you going into a healthy spring training here in 2025. And obviously, rooting for you wherever you end up. But Trent, thank you so much for hopping on.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.